Hey riders, it's turning into a gloomy day outside, so as you probably know, most riders, especially most Harley riders, whenever it's gonna be a rain day or just a crappy weather day of any sort, you figure out a way to work on your bike, and that's what I'm gonna do today. Rain's supposed to hit here probably tomorrow or the next day. Anyway, what I'm gonna do today is replace the shocks. I think I spoke to you guys about that before in my last video. So today I'm installing Supershox. I've read up about them extensively, watched all the YouTube video reviews on them, and I just got the shocks shipped to me. They were delivered probably about 4 days ago. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and install those and let you guys watch. All right, I'm gonna do a quick unboxing. Not too much to deal with here. Came with a little sticker you can put on your bike. That'll basically, because these are adjustable for one rider or two riders, you can adjust the shock with this, using this graph here that they give you based on your weight, and then it gives you a number to adjust the shock, which I'll show you later. So you can record those numbers here, stick it on your bike somewhere, so when you're riding one up or two up, you know exactly where to adjust it based on the weight. Little marketing sticker, instructions. Really nice. Here's where you adjust it right here. Just by turning this upper lever here. I don't know if you can see. There's numbers right here. That's where you're gonna turn this collar to adjust it to those numbers when you get them installed. Really hefty feeling. They're really nice looking. And it also has a relocation mount, which what it does is it offsets it to the rear of the bike just a tad and lowers it about a ½ inch, which for me is great because I'm not always flat-footed on my bike. I'm a little too short for it. I'm 5'9", and sometimes, you know, depending on the type of shoe or boot I'm wearing, I'm not flat-footed on that bike. But if I could get it lowered just a tad, that would definitely give me a little bit more confidence when I come to a stop and put both feet down. So this is going to be a great addition to the bike. And then it comes with the bolts, and that's another relocation mount, and spacers. Okay, one thing you are going to need if you're going to do this yourself is some type of lift for your bike. I picked up this one. It's hydraulic lift for 25 bucks at a garage sale. They're normally about 150, I think, 180. You can buy cheaper ones on Amazon that aren't hydraulic. You have to use a wrench to crank it up. You can get those for 75 bucks online. But fortunately, I found a guy who was getting rid of this and picked it up for a song. So you just want to raise it up enough to where the bike is standing straight up and there's minimal weight on the tires. They're still touching the ground, but you can always adjust it later when you need to. And you will need to in order to get the shocks all the way off and then put the new ones on. Okay, here's the tools you're gonna need for this job. A torque wrench, blue Loctite. If you have a cordless power ratchet, that's great. If not, the old-fashioned will do. And then a 3/4 inch socket and a 5/8. One nice thing that I did like about these shocks, the bushings, you see in here, they actually rotate. Now you can see that on camera. But top and bottom bushings rotate, which gives it a little bit more of a flex as far as the bushings go. So things don't bind when the the rear wheel is moving up and down. Instead, these bushings move with it. Going to use the same bolt that you took off on the top, the original bolt for the top portion of the shock, and then add the spacer on the other side. Okay, got to make a confession here. Made a huge rookie mistake. I didn't take off both shocks before I started installing the new one, which obviously made things very difficult, because when you try to stick on a new shock with the old shock still on the other side, the swing arm is in too high of a position in order to get the bolts in. So after fiddling around with that, I finally figured it out. So we're good now, and let's get back to the install. Okay, now time for the torque wrench. These bolts, the 3/4 inch bolts, they have to be torqued to 63 to 70 foot-pounds on my year bike. My year is a 2020 Road Glide Special. Make sure you check the specs for your bike before you torque it down. I believe previous year models, can't remember exactly which year, but they only needed like 30 to 35 pounds of torque. So just be careful about that. Don't over torque. All right, shocks are in. I'm gonna get the saddlebags mounted back in, put the seat back on, and take this thing out for a ride in the morning. It's supposed to be clear. Let you guys know what I think. Okay, so this is the final step. Using this graph, that's how you figure out the setting on this. And you really just set it by turning this collar. So you figure out your rider weight, and then you figure out what setting you're on. And of course, I'm not going to tell you how much I weigh. Okay, that's it for the install. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to take it out in the next couple of weeks and do a test ride after the weather clears up here. And I'll post a review on what I think about these new shocks. In the meantime, stay safe out there.